Welcome to the 108 podcast, starring the drunk uncles of White Sox Twitter. He eats 5 McRibs in a single day, looks like John Turturro if he were the victim of a killer bee attack. Beef loaf. He made out with Louise Post while Richard Patrick watched. He's a consumer of fine beers, and he's anti-Paw Patrol. My Sox Summer. And your host. He still thinks the most racist thing in American history was leaving Shaq off the Dream Team. Teresi E.
Thank you, Cornsey, and welcome to the From the 108 podcast. I remembered the name of it this week.
Yeah.
So let's talk some baseball and bullshit. My Sox Summer, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. I got an hour and a half break today in the middle of the day, thanks to your lovely wife, Cornsey, who selflessly came over and watched both my children and made sure that I was able to go and sit in freezing temperatures at White Sox Park to throw one of the lowest speed pitches that was thrown today.
Congrats.
It was great.
You were smart. You called her early enough to get her before a morning martini. So she came over nice and sober for you.
Move.
Beefalo, how you feeling, man?
You know what? I feel good. Work's pretty much done kicking me in the balls this quarter. And I was sitting back reflecting the other night after my wife and daughter went to sleep, and I was realizing it's almost time for me to cut off my hair.
Oh, all of it?
Yeah, all of it. Because
are you going full body shave, or is just
no, just the hair on my head?
Okay.
I'm starting to get to the age now where if I don't have a career in music or weed, or I'm not an old hippie, I shouldn't have hair this long anymore. I've lived it out as long as I can. I think it's kind of over.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to cut it short.
What?
Or at least moderately short. Right now, I'm thinking maybe a little lower than the ears, maybe almost to the chin. That's about as far as I'm going to go. I'm going to do it gradually. I'm not going to cut it all off in one fell swoop, but I think I got to start going down with it a little bit.
I'm just enough that I could tuck it behind the ears.
That's what I need to go with, I think. My hair's way too long.
I took 18 inches off the first time. Like, I hadn't cut my hair in like 3 years. It was like 18 inches.
Ooh, hello.
Man,
they called it the Long Dong Silver.
Yes.
Better porn star, Long Dong Silver, John Holmes. Who you got?
Well, I'm going to... just because... Long Dong Silver. Because John Holmes was like... he was insane. He was a drug addict.
Have you watched Wonderland? That's a fucking awesome movie.
It is. And then I watched...
although Dylan McDermott as a tough guy is a little weird to watch.
I was watching the documentary last night about we just talked about this walking in, the HIV outbreak that happened in the 2000s and like all the things that went wrong. And they talked about like how, like everyone knew John Holmes was going to get AIDS because he was doing the gay porn and then doing the straight porn. And he was just crazy. He was doing all sorts of weird shit. So then when it happened again in the 2000s, they're like, what's going on that's happened? Why is this happening again? And then they like have to narrow it down to one guy. It's called like Flashpoint or something.
Okay.
It was really good. Like I didn't watch the whole thing. I was going to finish it today, but it was nuts. Like just how they had to figure out who the person was.
Shockingly, something about porn. You didn't finish the video.
Like of course it comes up when I'm folding our new T-shirts, from the 108.
I was thinking it made sense
this is excellent.
that they had no clue who it was in the 2000s because John Holmes' big giant old dick was dead by then. Right?
That's true. Someone might have resurrected.
So you would have taken John Holmes over Long Dong Silver?
You know, I'm not familiar with really either of their works. I'm more of a Ron Jeremy guy. You know, that's I want a guy as ugly as me.
John Holmes is pretty ugly.
John Holmes is a goofy looking dude.
Yes. And Long Dong Silver was probably shattering like molds, being a big black guy.
Okay.
In the 70s, 80s.
He's the Jackie Robinson of porno.
He was getting with the white ladies. That's a good thing.
All right. Beefalo, different question for you. What would you rather listen to, UB40 or a David Lee Roth solo album?
You know what's funny about David? I would pick David Lee Roth's solo album. You know what's funny about David Lee Roth?
Which one?
It doesn't matter. It's all the same.
One of my good friends from my very first job, who you know, that we occasionally call Brother Ted.
Oh, yes.
His karaoke song was a David Lee Roth song. And the name of the song is escaping me right now. But like to see this guy, he's an Asian dude, get up there and sing David Lee Roth music as his karaoke song is just so enjoyable.
I want the name of that song by the end of the week.
I got it for you.
All right.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, except for the fact that I need to give a huge apology to Beefloaf.
Yes.
When you have a drug and booze-addled brain, You tend to misremember things. And for the longest time, I've been giving credit to My Sucks Summer for naming me Teresa E. And I will put a little caveat on this. You've never corrected me.
No, I
you didn't even fucking know that you did this either. But we unearthed an email recently.
We unearthed it?
I unearthed the email.
My Sucks Summer unearthed the email. I'm going to give you credit for something else.
How dare you?
Where he actually put it. And, some of the other options for my name was fantastic. So we might have to release those soon.
So at some point.
And just some of the other ones.
Because I had an alternate ego that I was going to go under too, and I sort of liked the other one better, but we ended up sticking with Beef Loaf.
Beef Loaf is fantastic. Beef Loaf is fantastic. Somehow Minoso Torres was in there for me at one point.
I think it's a strong one.
I think that's a good one. I think it's a deep cut, though.
First off, every other version of your name on that, or every other option he gave you, was total garbage. It made Teresa E look the best by comparison. It's like, if there's 19 ugly chicks and one sort of hot chick in a room, that sort of hot chick is going to look a hell of a lot hotter because of what she's around. I think you set it up first.
No, I disagree. Yeah. This is a familiarity bias we have here. Because we've been using these names now for 3.5 years, that's why you think they're the good versions. But they're just the version that we chose at the time. Those ones could have been better. In fact, we could probably put them out there in a poll and see if people might pick some different shit for each of us. You never know.
Beef Loaf never sounded good. But now it's just hilarious. It's just funny.
That's the thing. It works, right?
It was the one thing I think that really, people looked at our blog when I would share it on my personal Facebook and go, well, if Beef Loaf says so, then I'm in.
And Teresa, you know what triggered it? I always thought, that's not right. How could you be giving My Sucks Summer credit for this? But then I backed up because I'm like, no, you're just misremembering this because you're just thinking that every good idea is your idea. And that's not a good way to go through life. But today I was sitting at my desk at work, obviously not working, and I decided to go through sent emails from 3 years ago and dug that one up and found it. So I'm really proud of myself.
Now I think he altered the email.
If you did, you know what? You can have it.
You know what happened? You know what really happened? Was you said this out loud. And then he just put it into the list.
I was probably way drunk. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
We're probably doing a Saturday smoke. And he stole it from us. We're like fucking clearance.
I was trying to steal cigarettes from your wife, and then, he's like, I'm going to get them back.
I don't think so.
I should, more full disclosure, well, I'm not getting things off my chest. I think I'm already drunk. Nice. We're 7 minutes in or 8 minutes in, whatever we're in.
It's going to be a fun one.
This is going to be a nightmare. Speaking of drunk, remember the drinking game to go along with this podcast. If My Sucks Summer doesn't know a player,
and he won't.
You got to drink. And guys, I'm telling you, this might get dicey towards the end, so be prepared.
Line him up towards the end of the show.
Drinking domestics tonight.
Beef Loaf, if he uses an advanced stat or coughs into his mic.
I've been better the last few weeks.
You have. The
weather's coming up.
You've been less bronchial. Yeah, You're less Henry Hill.
Well, if he's legitimately bronchial.
And then, of course, if I swear if I say, here's the thing, you've got to drink.
That's a question for you, My Sucks Summer.
Yeah.
Who looks worse right now, you think? The actual Henry Hill or Ray Liotta? One's dead, one's alive, but I'm not sure.
I think it depends on the preservation technique. Me and Cornsey were watching this thing last night. Have you watched this Dark Tourist guy? It's the same guy that did the Tickled documentary.
Oh.
That documentary's fucked up, right?
It's a weird documentary.
So this guy likes fucked up things, apparently. He's doing all this dark tourism all over the world. And he was in, where the fuck was he? He was in Africa. And he went to this funeral, basically. But the guy's been dead for 2 years. And he's still just laying there. He's still just laying there in the room.
Is it really cold in there?
No, but they did some...
Outside?
No, it's fucking Africa. It's hot.
It's true.
They did some tree sap embalming. It looked like the guy had been asleep for 5 days.
Oh man!
So if they did that to Henry Hill, he absolutely looks better than Liotta. There's no fucking question.
There's no doubt.
Something tells me they burnt up Henry Hill. They just they threw a match by him, and because of all the alcohol he's drank during the years, he just poof.
I mean, you could smoke him. That's like smoking crack, right? It's got to be a ton of cocaine in that guy,
right?
Oh, there's no question.
Speaking of cocaine, The Sox have made a decision. They're going to go with digital tickets this year.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. We didn't say what we were drinking tonight.
Oh, we're drinking beer.
We're drinking beer.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So
And we're on. So they're doing digital tickets this year. And now, obviously, this is a great idea, and it's all in the execution, and the Sox never execute anything poorly at the gates. So I'm going to kick it around to you guys and see what you think about the Sox going fully digital on tickets. Beeflo, if you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. My thought on this is that everything will go wrong. I think the first few games, even the games where no one's at, the lines are going to look like Potbelly's giving away free sandwiches. You ever know Potbelly's got the day where they're giving away free sandwiches, and it's a 17-block line just to get a free sandwich? You think to yourself, what fucking idiot is waiting in line 5 hours to get this sandwich? This is going to be us waiting in line 90 minutes to get into the ballpark. I don't think scanners are going to work at some gates. They're going to push people off to other gates. I mean, there's going to be pandemonium as far as like trying to get in the ballpark. People will just like stay outside and tailgate, I think.
But they can't do that. Remember the Crosstown Wasted? There was like a line like 500 people deep, and we're like, we're going to be waiting there for a half hour. And the security guy's like, you guys got to go up there. Oh, no. Can't we just drink until that line gets down? No. You need to go up there. You can drink up there, though. Okay.
That's why you got to have sex with the security guard.
He wasn't that bad looking for being in his 60s.
If there's one thing I learned about from The Sopranos, it's that preferential treatment comes from security guard blowjobs.
That's impressive.
My sex summer. What do you think?
What about you, John?
Oh, you got more?
I think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be a cost savings. Right? Is the reason why they're doing this. You know, they don't have to actually. They don't actually have to give us the PDFs. You can still get printed tickets. You got to pay extra for them.
Yeah.
But how much is that? Is that like $25?
$25 a ticket. Like
per seat. So for a full season,
yes.
It's $25 to get your whole season.
Okay,
done. So it's not that
really
costly.
So it's basically Kinko's prices to.
When this came up, I asked Treasy. I said, Treasy, should we get our tickets printed? And we talked about it for a little bit. And we're like, no, we want to see every fucking thing that's going to go wrong. I mean, what's the big deal? Us missing some time in a game. We go to a lot of games. We can't wait to see how fucked up it is and write about it all over the internet. I'm just looking forward to it.
You can still use your phone if you have printed tickets. Like, that's okay. Like from way I understand. Right. Because I got printed tickets, and I got it just because this will be my first year of having 81 games. And I was like, well, let me get all the tickets so then I can have all the tickets.
Sure.
Even though they're the shitty.
I don't want the backup, man. I don't want the backup. I want, like, if shit goes wrong, I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to deal with it with the people. We're going to see what happens. And I'm going to hate every fucking second of it.
I assume they did this because they're worried about people forging PDFs and all that kind of shit, but no one really attends White Sox games. So, I don't really even see the point of doing this. I guess maybe you do it now because it's lower risk, because you have less fans, the team's shit, and you work out all the kinks. But the Sox aren't good at working out the kinks of the operations in the ballpark. They're good at certain things. That ain't one of them. And I don't suspect they'll ever get better unless they really put some money into putting people on the ground.
Well, that's okay. Yeah. But you got more?
No, that's it.
I think that I don't know if it's necessarily because it's saving any money, because it's not really all that expensive to print tickets. Now, getting rid of the fancy tickets that they used to print out for season ticket holders that had the pictures of the players and all that stuff, I understand why they don't do that anymore, because that was like a lot of money.
Sure.
It's supposed to cut down on fake tickets, right? Like counterfeit tickets and people getting scammed or whatever. I don't see that being an issue other than, 6 games a year?
Right.
Yankees, Cubs, opening day. It's not going to be a thing.
I do it every game, but
who cares? I mean, they make more money by you scamming a ticket in there and going to buy a beer than they would otherwise.
I changed my ticket to an upper deck seat and then see if I could still get around the park. It's just more for fun.
It's a sport. I don't actually sit here, but can I sit here? No. But I think what it comes down to is they are trying to eliminate a scalper, and they're trying to eliminate a scalper going through traditional means of scalping. StubHub is okay because they pay. There's a money exchange between MLB and StubHub and SeatGeek and all those kind of places.
Right.
So that's where I get kind of weirded out. Like, you're gonna have to have an electronic ticket from a second reseller, a second, like a second, what would they call it?
Secondary
market,
the secondary
reseller.
Market. Yeah,
like that seems to me like that's going to be kind of crazy.
This is where I'm worried. The secondary market. This is where I'm most worried about this fucking thing.
What do you think's going to happen?
They are already terrible at doing electronic tickets in the secondary market. So, like, if you buy on StubHub, you better print that fucking thing out because it does not work at the gates at Comiskey. Like, that is a known fact.
Right.
So, if there's not an option to print out something from that, you're fucked. You're not going to be able to get in.
Well, Treasy, it's not a well-known fact because we hear motherfuckers talking about it every other week. We're at a game. It's like, oh, I couldn't use my StubHub ticket. They had to send me to such and such place to print this shit out.
So, like,
they don't make it well-known at that point.
Literally, everyone's going to have to, everyone who gets a SeatGeek ticket or a StubHub ticket is going to have to end up at the box office, which is, if they don't fix that between now and April, which they haven't even fixed the fucking fifth starter yet. I don't think they're on this. Like, I don't see them having a handle on this. What's going to happen is, like, people are going to go to the gates, then they're going to argue for 5 minutes, and then they're going to go to the box office and be pissed off, and then they're going to come back to the gates to a huge line, and then they're going to get in finally, and they're going to be like, "Fuck this place," which is exactly the fan experience you want me to try to build.
Absolutely.
Well, now the Bears are doing it too. They're no longer printing season tickets, which is, like, to me, you have 8 games,
right?
9 home games or whatever, 10 home games, like, and you're not going to print tickets, so it's not a cost thing. It's more about trying to just corner markets, I think, and then to curb all of the fake stuff. I don't understand why. I think that a PDF ticket is nice, especially for, like, a lot of the older generation guys, because some of these guys are not going to go to a game because they don't have a smartphone. Like, my dad just got a smartphone.
Right.
There's no fucking way possible he knows how to go somewhere and buy it and put it on his phone.
Now, the thing,
he's not going to be able to do it.
You can still buy, I think my understanding of this is only for the season ticket holders, correct? Because if you go to the ticket window, they're not zapping your phone or some shit. You're getting a printed ticket.
But only at the ticket window.
The ticket window.
If you do it online, you're not getting a printed ticket.
Well, if you no, that's not true. If you buy through Ticketmaster, you can choose to get a printed ticket also.
Are you sure that's still there?
Because they just did it. It just did it. Yeah.
Then that doesn't fix anything.
So you're going to get it.
The whole thing is still fucked up. You're just fucking with the season ticket holder.
Basically, yes. You're going to make sure that the people you fuck the hardest are the loyalist people. That's generally how life goes anyway. That's
true, right?
Well, hey. I mean, while we're on this subject, at SoxFest, if you upgraded or you got a full season ticket, you got to choose an autographed jersey from, like, Frank Thomas, Tome, all these guys. You could get a free jersey if you signed up and bought full season tickets there. And Wally Money was like, what the fuck? What about us that have already done this and do this year after year? Why do we not get anything?
Right.
And, like, we get, like, they had that nice event, obviously, right before SoxFest. That was cool. That's a nice thing to get invited to. White Sox Prom. And that's only available to full season ticket holders.
That's right.
I mean, that was nice. And like, they have, like, similar events through the year, ton of stuff. But, like, he's 100% right. Why don't we get an opportunity to win that or something? Or throw us all in a raffle and get this? I think that would be nice.
Now, one upside, potentially, and not right this second, but potentially an upside in the future to them switching over to some technology is the ability to pay with our phones via our season ticket holder accounts.
Yeah.
And getting discounts and getting some promotions. And I think this is all leading down the path of sort of that stuff, or at least I hope it is. It's leading down the path of a gambling app being on your phone that you can use in the ballpark when gambling comes overboard. So I think maybe the White Sox are just sort of like, we should probably fucking learn how to do this. Let's learn how to do it right now. While we're bad, and it could be a gateway to some other things.
Work the kinks out now.
Exactly. Right? Yeah.
So I just have one thing on this, because I already talked about the secondary market. That's a thing that I'm a little worried about. But
worried about the scalpers.
I'm not worried about any of that shit. What I'm thinking about is the ushers. So the ushers are now going to have to look at my phone to see if I'm in the right seat, right?
Yes.
No. Because here's what they do. When you use your phone, they print out a little, like a coupon that gives your seat location.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good because...
So you'll get that when you walk.
Because I'm going to lose that. And then what I'm more concerned about,
100%.
if they do have to look at the phones. Let's say you're going through our section.
Yep.
You're like, hey, Wally Money, can I see your phone? Holy shit. The Pandora's box they're going to open. Looking in that phone. Even touching that phone.
It's gonna be like Cheech and Chong. He's like, oh, you heard it. No, that's my dick. Your dick's this big, man? That's a good one.
All right.
Shout out to Cheech and Chong.
Oh, man. I'm still bummed I couldn't fit them into the comedian draft.
Next time.
All right, so my suck summer.
Yes.
You had a little adventure today.
I did.
Why don't you tell us about what you went to today, how it went? Give us the whole lowdown.
So I went to the speed pitch today, and it was really, really fucking cold.
Yes.
I was staying outside, and towards the end, my nose was just dripping. Snot was just dripping out of my nose. And it reminded me of the guy that I knew back in California that used to do a ton of cocaine and would have drip marks all over the front of his shirt. And you're like, for Christ's sake, get yourself together, Troy.
You were thinking about how warm you'd be had you done a bunch of cocaine, right?
So I was thinking, thank God I did so much cocaine. I'm not even cold.
Now, I had, again, shout out to Quincy for coming over and watching my two children's. There was no way in hell I could have taken those two.
Oh, no way.
Because it was just ridiculously cold. And the girl that invited us from the Sox, Erin, she said, I didn't know how you were going to do this with your girls. And I was like, I would not have. As soon as I went outside, I was like, no, this is way too fucking cold. Yeah. Her face is going to freeze. Both their faces.
Oh, yeah.
May probably would have been fine, but she would have been real bitchy. And she would not have stayed.
Rightfully so.
Right, no, I understand. But I will say this. She was very sad when I walked in and I did not have the hot dog that I said I was going to get her. Because I was distracted by Mr. White Sox Dave at the end. He's talking to me. We were talking Eddie. We were talking dog walk. We were talking all sorts of shit. And I was like, not thinking in my right head, hey, go get the free hot dog to take home to your daughter because that's gonna be the first thing she asks you when you walk in. Did not think that. And when she walked right in, she's like, Daddy, where's my hot dog? And I'm like, I don't have a hot dog. And she just was like, I was like, fuck.
Well, that's a good thing. She's learning early to be disappointed in her father. I mean, this is something I've been teaching Bonita Stakey for years, and she's now really up to speed on knowing that I'm going to fuck it up, and she's already ready. She knows.
I tell you what, though, drunk my Sox summer would have remembered.
Would have had the hot dog.
Sober,
maybe a bite or two taken out of it on the walk home, but still.
Possibly. No, yeah. I drove. It was too fucking cold.
No, I mean drunk. I'm drunk.
Yeah. No, I just get like 3 of them so that I can have one on the rock home.
Good call.
I can't wait till 15, 16 years from now. Little Miss Shortstop comes home with some guy whose fucking face is pierced all this shit. It's all stuck together. It's chained to his wallet. And my Sox Summer's like, what the fuck is this? And she's like, you forgot my free fucking hot dog, asshole.
So I thought the Sox did a great time, or did a good thing. It was a very fun event. There was, it wasn't packed, but there was a good amount of people. There's probably 50, 60 people that did it. And I thought that was cool. And I thought it was a very cool event from them to do it. Getting together with other Sox fans is always fun. I was really worried that I was going to be the worst person to go up there and throw the ball because I didn't want to throw the ball initially. I was like, I don't need to do this unless you really need me to do it because I felt like, they had reached out, Aaron reached out to us, and then when I got there, our buddy Mike was there too. But he doesn't listen to our podcast, so fuck him, he'll never hear this.
That's right.
So, but
he still dunked on you on Twitter, though. He's like, the guy threw 47 miles an hour. And
I threw a fat 51, okay? I threw a 51 and it was good.
Clips 50.
Yeah.
See, I think that's totally respectable.
I do too.
And here's the other thing about that. It was 15 degrees out.
Yes.
Very.
Absolutely. You put a major league pitcher in 15 degree weather. I mean, no one's touching 90.
Oh, hell no.
No one's touching 90.
No.
I mean, mostly because they know they'd fucking break their arm.
Yeah.
But, everyone who did this today, you got to add, 5-6 miles per hour to everything that they did. Because
I don't know if I did.
Insane conditions.
I don't feel like I would have thrown any better. Even if conditions were better. I think I threw as good as I could.
You know what? You're a very humble man.
The guy in front of me did an underhand softball pitch.
Beautiful.
And the guy behind me was the guy that actually won it. And he got the highest, which was, I think, 78. That was the highest they hit.
That guy throws in the 80s.
I think he's like in our age group too. But I was telling Beefloaf, like, I'm not a very good judge of age. He looked older. He's a fan because everyone was looking over towards our section to see the new
the Goose
Island, and it wasn't all together yet. And I said, "Oh yeah, we sit over there in section 108," and they're like, "Oh yeah, 108 guys." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm," and I like have to say, "I'm Jacob," and then I go, "I'm My Sock Summer," and you don't want to lead with "I'm My Sock Summer" and I'm in the 108 kind of deal because it kind of sounds douchey, but people know who you are, after a certain point. But I wasn't like flying our flag today because we don't have cold gear. So we're getting there. We'll get the Gore-Tex, but
the 108 face mask,
right? And I want to say that I was on the live stream, and all our fans and whatnot definitely picked out my part of it and put it up and everything. And I read all the comments that you assholes were fucking saying, okay? And I didn't see any of you guys there, okay? So the guys that were bad to me, that's fine. And then later, I was reading all the comments. They're like, "Oh, look at this guy. He's pitching like a softball, this and this and that." I was like, man, this is why the internet fucking sucks balls. Like, guys that are doing absolutely nothing and lazy are just like trying to tear apart somebody behind some keyboard somewhere. And you're just like,
because some guy went and had fun.
And you're being entertained by somebody, and you're like, "Oh, this guy sucks. What a dick." And it's like, this is why I didn't want to throw, and then I just don't want to, and you don't want to do this because like, why the fuck? That's why people don't want to be politicians anymore, because you're like, I don't want to get torn apart and everything like dissected,
Hey, My Sock Summer, quit being such a fucking pussy, all right? You're an internet celebrity, all right? People get the shit on you. That's part of the deal here.
I wrote some things before I went, the things that I thought that they could have done better, right? Like, I liked the whole idea of it. I thought, I also ended up liking the execution. I didn't think I was going to like the execution, but I did like it. I thought that having it in the middle of the day, during the middle of a week, was probably not the best thing. I thought that limiting spectators was not the best thing. But then again, I was like, they still got 50 people to show up then. Like, if they would have done this on a weekend and it was nice out, it would have been insane. It would have been pandemonium. Like, people would have been crazy and yelling, and this would have been nuts, right?
A zoo.
So that was good. But if they were going to do it again, like, they should definitely sell beer. And they're a great way to get people in the park, like when people are starting to pay attention, because pitchers and catchers are reporting. It was a great prize. It's like a week in spring training, all expenses paid,
awesome.
Which is really nice.
That is awesome. I mean, like, I was surprised that like an entire like college baseball team didn't show up.
Right.
And just like try and throw lights out.
There was some kids there.
Right.
That obviously, like, knew how to, like, in college, that knew how to pitch, because they were whipping. Like, 69 was the first kid through 69. Nice. And that stuck for a really long time. And, it was just funny. It was cool. It was cool to see.
So there was no age limit? Or do you have to be at least 18?
You had to be 18 and over.
Okay.
But I also thought, like, you could charge a minimal cover for people that wanted to come and watch it, or just be in it. You charge, like, $5. You have free parking, and you charge $5. And like, then you donate all the money to White Sox charities, and then you could build like a little grandstand of people watching this shit. But it was cool to be in the bullpen to throw this, and that's what I heard mostly from the guys. Was like, this is an experience. Like, I'm never going to be able to throw a pitch in a bullpen again,
right?
So I'm going to do it. And so the Sox were cool. Brooks was hanging out. Who else was out there? Like the regular heads, like guys that we see, from time to time. I'm pretty sure I met the Goose guy, the liaison between the Sox and whatnot. So,
any of those guys get up there and
no,
that's what
I
was wondering.
They should have to get up there.
Did Brooks throw?
No, Brooks did not throw. Brooks was in dress shoes.
So what, man?
Freezing his ass off.
I'm sure.
All the Barstool guys were there. Obviously, they all went last. So I think Carl out threw Dave. And so Dave's like, I'm going to get lit up.
Like, Carl was they were both college pitchers.
Yes.
But Carl was a college pitcher at, like,
Division I.
A Division I school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's taller.
He should throw
harder. And he's taller, and he's got some length on him, and Dave.
You're always with this. Oh, he's taller, so he must be.
Well,
good.
I mean, in pitching, my new forward would have been an awesome pitcher, probably.
I could throw 52, bud.
You probably could.
I'd love to see you guys show it down.
I don't want to do this ever again.
It'll look like the Simpsons kicker when his leg went flying off. That's both of our arms will be flying off.
Wally did a speed pitch one time, and he threw it a foot and a half in front of his foot. Like, because he was just trying to whip really hard.
Yeah.
And he didn't release when he was supposed to, and it just went straight down. Straight down.
I love it.
I was like, I can do better than that, so I will throw one. So, but no, it was a good time, and it was fun.
So do you think it would have been better if they would have done it, like, let's say, like, there's like batting cages underneath, right, where, like, you could go, like, where the players practice and shit like that. Yeah. Do you think it would have been better if they were under there, where you can kind of, like, see underneath the stadium?
Well, I don't think they have seating down there.
But I mean, like, just so that it's not freezing.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get to see more of the stadium. Do you think it would have been cooler down there? Or,
no,
like, it's still just more awesome, even if it's cold as fuck?
Well, like, they were touting that Chicago tough today, right?
Okay.
Like,
I got you.
being outside and doing that shit. And I think all these guys were high. I mean, everyone was freezing. They gave everybody hand warmers, too, which I didn't take because I was like, I'm not going to take those. And then later I'm like, why the fuck didn't I take those? You know? Like,
did the Goose guys try and make anyone kick a field goal?
No.
This is okay.
But the guy that actually sent me a tweet, like, he threw like 70 something, right? And he also participated in that field goal contest. He was in the top 10. He said he literally missed it by, he said 6 inches or whatever, or 6 yards. I don't know what he did. But he missed it. It just went wide a little bit. But he was in the top 10, and they're bringing him, and this is what's cool about Goose, and like, they're not giving us money yet. But like, the money, like, they were like, okay, we're going to take the top guys, and they're inviting them back to the Barrel Room or something, which is, I guess, is a nice place over on the Goose Island. Mm-hmm. And they're going to drink real good beers and have a dinner and all this stuff for all the guys that did really good. That's cool nice, because, you know, Goose got a lot of press for it and probably sold some beer because of it.
No doubt.
And then they're going to kick it back, you know. And I think that's cool. I definitely think that's nice.
Let me just say, if someone told me I'm a ticket in the Barrel Room, I'm going to ask a couple of follow-up questions.
Just to make sure. Just to get my bearings about the place. There's no question.
Bend over. Come on over to the Barrel Room. So, did you guys, now I read the outline. Now, you guys have any promotions that you think that the Sox should do? Because I have a couple ones that I think are pretty fun.
Yeah, I think along the same lines. Like, I think there's some ideas that we might have. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first. The first one I thought of was maybe in honor of our guy at Not Rick Hahn, and have a little churro eating competition.
Oh, baby.
I think that would be, you could get a group full of fat guys up, let the beer flow, and let people knock down some churros. Another idea is a long-standing beef loaf and Teresi idea that I sort of melded into a contest. Teresi, you know how we always said that there should be a zip line from right where we come up from gate 5 and zip line us all the way to our seat?
Yes.
Okay.
I still think there should be.
I think after they install that,
on my phone, the ticket says zip line.
Access.
Yeah.
I think once they install that zip line, they should do a competition where people get to zip line across the field. And if they perfectly land in my seat, which is seat 1 on the aisle right there, then they'll win a prize. Now, there's a couple caveats. No pissing or shitting your pants. And no pissing or shitting directly on the field. Okay? And if you happen to land it, then you get a full season ticket in Section 1. You get row 14, seat 1. So right behind us.
But if you land in the Goose Island moat, me and Biggins drown you.
I would say go for the goose's mouth. You know, that's where you should be aiming. Everyone try to get in the goose's mouth.
You got to get goosed.
Yeah. You got to zip it right in there. What do you got, Teresi? You got an idea for maybe a bitching contest?
So I want to combine two of my favorite things in life, which are Bozo Buckets and Tom Amansky videos. It's
Bozo Buckets and tits.
I want someone to have to catch the ball in center field like a really high fly ball. This is first part of it. You catch a really high fucking fly ball.
Like how high? How many feet are we talking?
Like I want to
take the stadium high.
Like when Daryl shoots the t-shirt cannon gun with one of those balls, like and he holds it down for 13 seconds instead of the regular 7.
You know when you go to the batting cages and there's the one that throws like 90 miles an hour?
Yeah.
I want them to angle that up, shoot it in the air. You got to catch this, and then you got to throw it into the bucket at second base. That's just round 1. And then you do it a couple more times. You hit all 4 bases.
Yeah.
Season tickets, scout seats.
Jesus.
So I'd be impressed if anyone even caught the ball out of the cannon at one time.
You know, but you think about it, right? You think like the guys that you even guys you knew growing up, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a ton of guys in this city that played college ball, right?
True, yeah.
Or like just graduated from college and were playing college ball.
Right.
And they moved to Chicago because there's a lot of fucking jobs in Chicago, right?
There is,
so like
sure.
everyone in the Midwest that played baseball, a good portion comes to Chicago. So there's got to be some like center fielder out there who's pretty good, who can score himself like scout seats for a full season by Tom Manskying the fuck out of this. So that's one. But my other one is like, I always get mad whenever we talk about this. There's always someone who's like, we're like, hitting a Major League Baseball pitcher is just impossible, right? And everyone's like, oh, I could do it. I could do that.
There's always a couple guys in the group that are like, oh, I'd get up there. I could hit 100.
Oh, I can hit 100. I can hit 150 in the
There's
Major
people
League.
on the Facebook chat is like, oh, I can hit over 70. I didn't do over 70.
Yeah, right.
Fuck you could. Fuck you.
So we don't want to waste any of our pitchers doing this promotion, but I think a guy who's still kind of pitching that we could get him up here from Mexico.
Bobby Jenks.
We get Freddie Garcia in the house.
Oh, Sweaty Freddy, yes.
And it's a bet. We get 25 batters, right? Randomly picked.
Out of the entire city?
No. Like you show up
at the ballpark.
You show up, right? You show up for this event, and it's just a lottery, right? So like you might get a guy who just got out of college and is a 350 hitter in college, or you might get a guy who's never picked up a baseball bat in his life. You put them up there. If any of them gets a hit, like a into the outfield, you got to knock it into the outfield.
Yeah.
They get, like some amount of the prize. Like they split it up, like that fucking bullshit phone game.
You did say betters.
Right. Because
and then batters and betters.
No. It's a bet. Because if Freddie gets everyone out, he gets the whole prize.
Nice.
So it'll encourage Freddie to throw some nasty shit.
Yeah.
Right? But he's got to go 25 batters in a row. It's like the Dickstown of Major League Baseball.
He's got to basically throw a perfect game to these random people.
For those of you who don't know what Dickstown is one of the finest films ever made. Just put your feelings about James Woods aside if you have bad feelings about him. Yes. But it's James Woods and Lou Gossett Jr. And, of course, one of them is a professional boxer. It's Lou Gossett Jr. And he's like 50 in the movie. And he has to beat 10 boxers in one day. 10 boxing matches. So it's a ridiculous, crazy gambling movie.
Yeah, okay.
And Oliver Platt looks sexy the whole movie, just like you would expect. And was
Stern?
Jennifer Graham? Not Jennifer Graham. Heather Graham.
Heather Graham, yeah.
I can't even.
Heather Graham. Bruce Stern is the bad guy.
Bruce Stern's the bad guy. Heather Graham looks good though. This is very young Heather Graham.
Yeah, it's
Roller Girl.
Pre-Roller Girl.
Pre-Roller Girl?
Pre-Roller Girl. Oh, dude. Hey, do you need my bathroom first?
Not yet.
All right.
He's talking about it, though.
He is turning into my sausage summer right now.
Let's watch some two girls and a guy, Heather
But
Graham.
he's got to put down...
Butthole eating.
He's got to...
I didn't did an episode about that, right?
That's a great Robert Downey Jr. But he's got to beat 10 boxers in one day. This is Freddie Garcia. He's got to strike out basically 25 guys in like, we'll give him an hour. I think this is worth doing. So I take Freddie Garcia by a mile in this competition.
Is it just guys that show up to hit?
Guys and girls, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that was one thing that I noticed, too. There was no girls there today to see if they could throw a fast pitch. And I feel
that's disappointing.
I feel like there should have been. Like, there should have been at least one, like, girl that, like, is really good at throwing, softball.
Yeah, it's a softball pitcher.
Just whip a fucking ball in there, because why not?
Remember Jenny Finch?
Yeah.
Like she threw hard overhand, too.
Yeah.
Like, she had a gun overhand.
Yeah. So, like, back in the day, those tough man competitions, you had to fight, like, 5 or 6 guys to win that night. It was always in one night. And the early UFC championships, the same deal. Like,
you're talking about like the Butterbean one?
Yeah, you had to fight. Yeah, you had to fight like 4 or 5 times, in the same day to like win the championship. And then they had to outlaw those because people were dying.
Yeah,
it wasn't good.
All I took from there is we should probably invite Butterbean to the 108.
Dude,
see, our guy Justin looks like Butterbean if he got fatter and one.
Well, if Butterbean got tall. Justin
is pretty tall.
He's a tall dude.
So, hey, one of the questions, like, I had some serious things on here, and fuck that. We're not going to talk about it. But we're going to have, I think we should do a maple wing eating contest. But it's not timed, okay? It's going to be like, we're going to see how many you can eat before they close the kitchen, and I'm doing the air quotes after the game. Okay?
See, I was gonna say, like, if we did that, everyone would get 5. It would be a tie at 5 all across the board. So I think if we're gonna do wings, we should do like go to Buffalo Wings and Rings, right?
Yes.
And do a boneless wings challenge because I feel like someone could eat like 100. It'd be like a 100 nugget challenge.
Like, I hadn't eaten that Friday night at Sox Fest, and I think Mr. Han and his whole posse there, Dale and McLean and then Michelle, they had 2 big bowls of wings sitting there, and I was going to order food, and he's like, no, just go ahead and eat them. I probably ate 50 wings standing right there. I was so hungry, I was just eating. I'm like, God, I feel so fat. And then they just keep shoving it in.
They weren't the boneless, but he ate them like that.
Now, you guys know that I've eaten 40 McNuggets in one sitting. Right?
I do know
That's
that.
impressive.
Look, it's not good. You don't feel good afterwards. Like when I got to 30, I thought I could stop right now and I'll go on my life pleasantly, and I didn't. And those last 10 were not good for me. I did not feel good.
I think maybe you misunderstood what I was saying. So I don't want to do this. I want others to do this and to entertain me.
Understood.
All right,
It's
time to pay some bills.
Hi, I'm Isaac Summer, a satisfied Dutch customer. You know, we have a lot of fun with the guys from Dutch Movers, but seriously, they're a real moving company that all of us in the 108 have used multiple times. So yes, Dan will pick up the phone if you give them a call at 708-331-2990. He's a real person. He's long and strong and down to get the friction on. We ain't fooling. So if you need a move and you want to use a local business that supports our favorite baseball team, use Dutch Movers, 708-331-2990. And remember, if it ain't Dutch, it ain't much.
Oh, baby.
I was just sitting here thinking, what if we had the wrong number down there and people were calling to prank that number based on these ad reads?
What I was thinking during that is, like, I don't think there's a group of 3 people on this planet that support both the White Sox and Sir Mix-a-Lot as much as this what's at my table right now. All right.
Totally true.
So we've got a little new thing.
Yes.
Funny. We're gonna open up a Hall of Fame, and it is the 108ing Hall of Fame.
Yes.
So tonight we're going to induct our first 9 people into the 108ing Hall of Fame. So this could be anything. This could be a baseball player. This could be some other type of athlete, a writer, a musician, a politician, a mortician, whatever it happens to be. So I want to go around, and last time we went youngest to oldest. So I'm going to switch it around. We're going to go oldest to youngest, and we're going to start the 108ing Hall of Fame, which means my Sox Summer, first inductee, is all yours, baby.
Man, so I'm going to go with my most outside-the-box inductee, okay? Initially, like, I was reading the outline, and it said on there, you know, entertainers, athletes, and then it said characters, and I was like, oh, that's a good angle, right? Okay. It's a character. Like, we could pick guys. So immediately I think, who was the guy's name in Leaving Las Vegas? But then I'm like, but no, because I don't know his name. Yeah, so why the hell would I say that? And he was trying to kill himself. That doesn't embody the 108 and what the 108ing is.
For sure.
So then I thought, who's a drunk that has a really good time? Seems to have a really good time. And I say, Ty Webb.
Oh, wow.
Who is? This is very outside the box, okay? Ty Webb was Chevy Chase in Caddyshack. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to look this up. Because as a guy, I feel like we admire Chevy Chase in that movie, at least. And then I was reading some Caddyshack stories, trying to figure out if Lacey Underall, who is still really hot these days, just to let you guys know, she was like underage in the movie, because I was like, well, I don't want to pick Ty Webb if he was like getting down with like a chick who was underage because, you know, she was visiting Judge Snails, you know, and
Smales
or Snails?
Smales.
So she was visiting him. So like, you know, the younger kid, what's the kid's name?
Spalding.
Yeah. Spalding's definitely not over 18. So anyway, I was reading some stories and I'm like, man, that whole cast is really fucked up. So Bill Murray was passing out in sand traps because they would party so hard. Everyone was on cocaine, and they filmed in the part of southern Florida where cocaine is actually the cash crop of southern Florida. So it was perfect. They all were all yacked out and racing golf carts around, so much so that they had to like take all the keys away from the golf carts so these guys wouldn't drive them around anymore. And then they learned how to hotwire the golf carts so they could still go around and do this. And the woman who plays Lacey Underall said it's not that hard to hotwire a golf cart. So we'll have to figure.
Teresa, you want to bet Brian Doyle Murray was behind the hot wiring?
Oh, hell yeah.
I guarantee he's the man who was hot wiring this shit.
I'll put $1 million on that.
Now,
because I have $1 million.
They also improvised almost like 75% of that movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And they were just like, so they would party all night and then shoot the whole next day, and they would just make up whatever they could think of. Right? So I want to submit the entire cast and crew of Caddyshack.
Holy shit.
As one of my first inductee into 108, except for Ted Knight, Judge Snails, because apparently he didn't party with the kids. So he tried to keep it really tight and like kept it together, so he can't go in. Rodney did, and of course he fucking did. He partied with those guys till 4 in the morning.
So I want you to watch the Norm Macdonald show that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
When he interviews Chevy Chase.
Okay.
Because he tells a fantastic Rodney Dangerfield Caddyshack story.
Okay.
About Bill Murray and some other guys and Rodney.
Apparently Murray and
I'm not even going to spoil it.
Chevy Chase like hate each other.
I'm not even going to try and tell it. Oh yeah.
Yes.
No, Chevy's not involved in this story at all. So take a listen. Go check it out.
Watch it.
I'm not going to fuck it up for you. But
so Caddyshack minus Ted Knight. That's my first. That's fucking inductee.
It's going to be a very easy picture to get on the.
I am just going to use the whole cast and crew and then put a big red X over Ted Knight's face.
It's our design guy.
Fuck that
guy. All right, B-Flow, what do you got first?
I am going to go with the person who is not only a famous writer, but he is super famous for his 108ing prowess.
I think we both know this guy.
And there is a man
too.
Named Hunter S. Thompson.
Baby.
That's not who I was thinking.
Baby, yes.
I want him to be my first inductee, only because if you read A Day with Hunter S. Thompson, this looks like a typical 108ing weekend. Let me run through this for you. This was in a published Associated Press article detailing a day of what he sort of does. Okay, 3 p.m. Rise, wake up. 3:05 Chivas Regal with morning papers, Dunhill cigarette.
Nice.
3:45 p.m. cocaine. 3:50 p.m. another glass of Chivas, another Dunhill. 4:05 first cup of coffee, another Dunhill. 4:15 cocaine. 4:16 orange juice, Dunhill. 4:30 cocaine, 5:05 cocaine, 4:54. Sorry, I did that out of order. 4:54 cocaine, 5:05 cocaine, 5:11 coffee, Dunhills. Because you got to mix the coffee and the cocaine.
So that's all I wonder. Like, do you need coffee?
He's trying to rise up a little bit.
This will match into my guy that's first. So go ahead.
Excellent. 5:30 more ice in the Chivas. 5:45 cocaine. 6 p.m. grass to take the edge off. He's got a little bit of edges going on here, so I understand that. 7:05, Woody Creek Tavern for lunch, which entails a Heineken, 2 margaritas, 2 cheeseburgers, 2 orders of fries, a plate of tomatoes, coleslaw, a taco salad, a double order of onion rings, carrot cake, ice cream, bean fritters, Dunhills, another Heineken, cocaine, and for the ride home, a snow cone. Obviously.
7 p.m. lunch is the best part of that.
The parentheses of the snow cone. A glass of shredded ice over which is poured 3 or 4 jiggers of Chivas. Of course! Chivas snow cone. 9 p.m.
Sounds horrible.
Cocaine. 10 p.m. drops acid. 11 p.m. chartreuse, cocaine, grass. 11:30 p.m. cocaine. Midnight. Hunter is ready to write for the evening. 12:05 to 6 a.m. Chartreuse, cocaine, grass, Chivas, coffee, Heineken, clove cigarettes, That's just for my Sox Summer right there. Grapefruit Dunhill's Orange Juice Gin. 6 a.m. And this is where it brings it all home for us. In the hot tub, champagne, Dove bars, fettuccine Alfredo. Oh, yeah. 8 a.m. Halcyon, 8:20 sleep. If that isn't a great 108ing day, I don't know what the fuck is.
Fettuccine Alfredo in a hot tub is about as good as you're going to get. You know, what's funny is
That's making it right there.
Especially in August.
Dream.
So I was,
when it's balls,
I was also going to do
balls hat.
Hunter S. Thompson. He was going to be my second pick. And I was actually looking up, I was like, you know what? Let me see what they have to say about Dr. Gonzo on the internet. And apparently, no one knows whatever happened to this guy. He just like disappeared on a trip to Mexico in like 1974. And it just says, presumed dead. All right. So my number one, this wasn't even fucking tough. This was when you said 108ing Hall of Fame, there's only one guy that comes to mind in my fucked up mind, and that is the one and only Lemmy Kilmister.
Yes, absolutely.
This guy, I mean, like one of my favorite stories about Lemmy is when he's with the guys. I think it was from the Alice in Chains, right? He was with those guys, and it's like Cantrell and I think Mike Inez, because at that time, and they're sitting around having some drinks. And he says, hey, you guys want some Jack Daniels with me? And they're like, we're getting to drink Jack Daniels with Lemmy. Of course, we'll do it. So he opens up a bottle. He hands it to Jerry. Jerry is like, okay, I'm going to do a drink of it, and then I'm going to pass it. And then he realized that Lemmy is opening yet another bottle to hand to Mike. And then they both have bottles, and then Lemmy opens his own bottle. And they're like, Lemmy wanted to drink Jack Daniels bottles like bottles of beer with us. And a similar story from Reverend Horton Heat, where Reverend Horton Heat is there recording with him, and they're doing some tracks, and then they're drinking, and they're doing some tracks, and they're drinking, and they're drinking. And
they recorded with Lemmy?
Yeah. And
no, that's got to be weird.
And the Rev ended up in the hospital with alcohol poisoning. I mean, drinking with Lemmy was like an Olympic sport. You know? Yeah. So like, and the guy, he lived way longer than I could ever imagine. Right. And I saw him a bunch of times. I saw him his last Riot Fest that he played, and like he looked bad up there. He was still fucking rocking it out, and you know that he had tons of shit. But the coffee thing made me laugh because back in my touring days, you know, when I was working road crew, I was working with this guy. He was in Pigface at the time, and he was in a band called he was in his own band. He had called Bile, right? And he's an awesome guitarist, really great guy. Like industrial metal was his type of music, and they actually played a series of shows on the East Coast with Motorhead. And he said, you know, he got a chance to meet Lemmy, and Lemmy called him up to his room, and he goes, I went up to Lemmy's room at like 8 a.m. You know, and he goes, he handed me a cup of coffee, and I'm having a cup of coffee with Lemmy. How cool is that? He goes, I'm sitting there, and Lemmy poured speed into his coffee. He was like, well, I guess, you know, if you need that little pick-me-up, you know, whatever you're going to do.
At some point, coffee probably doesn't work.
Yeah, for sure. When that's your deal.
Yeah.
My Sex Summer.
Are we okay? We're not snaking it.
Oh, I can snake it.
You want to snake it?
I will. I'm happy to snake it.
Go for it. Because I feel like we should snake it, because I want to see you guys pick, and then I'm going to base my pick on it.
All right, I got to go into sports.
Okay.
And I think if there's one guy who's going to be number one from all the athletes, it's got to be this guy.
We all have him written down, I'm assuming.
Wade fucking Boggs.
Yeah. He was my number one.
I don't think I even have to explain it.
Yeah, but we should.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to explain about Wade Boggs. The guy is a definite alcoholic, definite sex addict.
Yep.
But the motherfucker ate like a bucket of chicken before every game. And now his goddamn handle on Twitter is Chicken Man, whatever, how many 3,000 hits or whatever he...
Yeah, that's Chicken Man 2000
is fucking awesome. Love the guy. I just... Great ball player.
Yeah.
And the 48 beers on the cross-country trip is so fucking awesome. The Always Sunny episode of it makes it even more.
Aren't the rumors higher than 48?
So that's the thing. If you look around there, Wade Boggs told the guy from Almost Sunny that his record was 107. And another guy said that he thought he drank 105, like when he was with the Tampa Bay Rays, when they flew from Florida to Seattle.
See, and this makes sense because when he's with the Rays, his career was basically over. So that's why he was just drinking.
Yeah. And so then he also, like, apparently, like, the original rumor was 70 beers in 7 hours, and then it went down to 50.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's
it's all
insane.
over the place,
That's
right?
still nuts.
So, and Wade Boggs believes that he did it. And if he believes it, then you just go with it, right? Like, you should just do it. So I had a story. One time, when I was a younger man, there was a rumor going around about me that I had a three-way with two very attractive ladies. And I wasn't even remotely true, right? But I told the person that was telling me the story, or it's like, I heard this rumor about you. I go, that's not true, but feel free to continue to tell everybody you know that rumor. Because it did not put me in a bad light whatsoever. That I could still land two hot chicks when I was in my early 30s. So,
Beef-Loaf, who you got at number 2, baby?
I am also going to saunter over to sports.
Oh, yes.
Albeit theatrics, if you will.
Uh-oh.
And my pick, my
picked
number
my
2
other
pick,
guy.
is Andre the Giant.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Everyone knows Andre the Giant, but not everyone knows Andre the Giant's drinking prowess. And according to a short list that I found, Andre the Giant consumed, on average, 7,000 calories of alcohol a day.
Yeah.
He would routinely drink a 12-pack of beer before a wrestling match. On road trips to wrestling matches, Andre would average a case of beer every 90 minutes. In one case, Andre consumed 16 bottles of plum wine before wrestling 3 matches shortly thereafter. The wine showed no discernible effects. Andre rarely drank enough to pass out. He was a huge man with a huge tolerance. One of the few times he did, though, he drank 119 beers in 6 hours. That sounds like Wade Boggs' territory of drinking there. That's roughly 1 beer every 3 minutes nonstop for 6 straight hours. When asked how much it took the Giant to get drunk, he replied, "It usually takes 2 liters of vodka just to feel warm inside." And for the record, that's 50% more alcohol than what killed John Bottom, which John Bottom drank over a 24-hour period. So I think it's easy for me to induct Andre the Giant into the 108 Hall of Fame.
I had him also on my list, and huge drinker, and he is just slightly fatter than myself. I was going to pick Jake the Snake too, or the Iron Sheik, but both those guys fucking terrify me, so I do not want them in the 108 Hall of Fame.
All right, my Suck Summer, you got to wrap it around now.
All right.
You got back-to-back.
Man, this sucks because I have 2 left. All right, so my next one I want to pick, and this is not, it's just not really in the spirit of this, kind of, but I was going to pick, I was thinking we were doing a 108 Hall of Fame, not a 108ing Hall of Fame, and I chose Tyler Saladino.
Oh, wow.
So I picked Tyler Saladino because he was an OG 108 supporter and really did this. But now I'm thinking about it, he does fall into the 108 category because he is quite possibly the biggest pothead the White Sox have ever had on their team.
They did have Freddie Garcia.
He was crazy high every time I saw him, every time we talked to him. I mean, we didn't talk to him at game times, but allegedly. But he seemed very, very, very high all the time. So I'm going to pick Tyler Saladino for his pot smoking. And my second guy is a guy that I think we all like also. It is Trent from Swingers. And he embodies all of the 108 qualities that we all think are great, right? You're with your bros. He looks out for his buddies. He calls them out when they're wrong, like when Sue brought the piece, and flashed the piece. Yep. They're like, man, what the fuck, Sue? You don't
live in Anaheim.
You're from Anaheim. He's a great storyteller. He's the best wingman. He builds up Mikey the whole fucking movie.
Absolutely.
He tells him how good he is, and he's just like, he puts it out there. He makes his friends look better because if his friends look better, he looks better. The guy behind the guy behind the guy. I mean, come on. That's just fucking classic shit. So, yeah, Trent from Swingers is definitely goes into the 108 Hall of Fame.
My next pick, my last pick, and the 8th member of the inaugural 108ing Hall of Fame class is someone who's even more near and dear to our heart than anyone we picked yet. I didn't think we could get out of this without picking an actual 108er to be part of the first 108ing class. I don't think it's appropriate. I know we picked celebrities and movie stars and all this stuff, but I had absolutely no choice, the way I see it, but to pick Biggins to be my third and the 8th overall member of this class.
Yeah.
I would consider him the godfather of 108ing. I would say, out of our group, I mean, he's older than we are, but he's still able to basically drink all of us under the table, despite being older than us.
I would say he can, like, continuously.
I can remember a time I actually met up with him. I happened to be in Austin. He was also in Austin. He and Slump Buster, and met up with them and some of their friends down there. I watched Biggins do 20 shots at an Austin bar. He got up. It was just, he wanted to leave, got up. He seemed fine. Gave him a hug, walked out. I mean, little did I know later on he fell down, busted his face wide open, and was bleeding everywhere. But when he left the bar, he was maintaining. And he felt like he was maintaining, he was still maintaining. So that's my guy. Is always up for doing a short class with us. He's sort of shepherded the 108ing thing before it was even called 108ing. So he's a member of the Hall of Fame.
I mean, it's crazy that motherfucker, the way he drinks, and then will get up, and the physical labor that he endures in a day.
It's incredible.
Right. It's fucking off the charts.
It makes you feel like less of a man being around him when you know what he does, you know?
And you know what he carries in his trousers.
Yes. So 6'7" and 10 inches.
So I'm going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And I feel like we
keep it safe.
Here's the thing. We missed this on the comedians draft, and I wasn't going to let it happen again. We had no female representation. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So but to include that, and as the Star Wars nerd of the crew.
Oh boy.
Yes. I think our first woman in the Hall of Fame.
It's a good call.
Is Carrie Fisher.
Absolutely. 100%.
Princess of drinking.
Rest in peace. She did a lot of drugs though.
Oh, she did all kinds of stuff. But her like autobiography is called Wishful Drinking.
Didn't she have ecstasy in her system when she died?
Like I don't
had ecstasy.
You know what?
I'm not sure she did.
I don't know about that. I hope she did. I hope she went that happy.
I think she did.
But yeah, I mean, like you look back at the party photos from like Star Wars and shit like that. I mean, she's also in the Blues Brothers, right? I mean, like I can only imagine what the off-camera shit was going on in the Blues Brothers. Because like Caddyshack, like you said, they got all these stories. Blues Brothers, you don't hear shit about what happened off-camera.
But you look who was in that movie,
yes,
you know some shit was going on.
Right? So definitely 100% Carrie Fisher in the 108ing Hall of Fame.
Excellent choice.
Rest in peace. All right. I think it is about time for overtime.
Overtime.
My Suck Summer, what do you got for us for overtime?
So I took back my question of the week this week. Because you guys were...
We've been cocking it up on
that? You were treating it a little rough. So I thought I'd go a little deep again. And it said, what part of your childhood would have been improved or ruined by having the internet when you were like younger, middle age, not middle age, but like teenage years, middle school, high school? Like, how would it have ruined or improved your life? Which one of you guys wants to go first?
You want me to go first? I'll go first.
Go first, Trees. You rarely get to go first. Let you go first.
So, I was thinking about this when you sent it, right? And I was thinking like, what could have been better, right? And I think I enjoyed my childhood quite a bit, right? So like I felt like the only thing that could have been better was like I was quite awkward speaking to girls. Okay, right? I just wasn't good at that. I made a lot of bad. Like you think back and like you have like, oh man, I can't believe I said that to somebody. That kind of thing. And so I thought, could something have made that better? And I thought, no. Because I was just a fucking awkward dude.
See the thing is, though, Treasy could get by, though. He's handsome, so he was able to get by even with that bullshit.
He's in bands.
That's right.
But what I realized...
He's a cool kid, He played sports and all that
stuff. You could get alcohol.
But what I realized is that in that same scenario, what could the internet have done to make that worse? And I thought to myself, you know what would be on the internet right now if I had the internet at that time, and it's pictures of my genitals. I think we've talked about this quite a bit in the Sunday soaks and things like that. If like
your genitals,
of like why it's so stupid for like kids nowadays that are out there taking pictures of your junk and sending it out, or like you know professional athletes doing it,
right?
Or you know congressmen, or you know, like whatever it is. Like we kind of laugh about it of like what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do this? And I thought awkward teenage Cheesy probably sends dong pics.
Famous penis.
And I'm very glad that, like, I didn't even have a cell phone until I was, like, 19. So, I think that's... The internet would have ruined... Maybe not my childhood, but eventually, like...
Something would have changed.
When my wang is showing up in my LinkedIn profile, it'd probably be a bad thing.
That is beautiful. I love it.
Beefloaf, why don't you tell us what would have happened?
So this question really stumped the shit out of me, and I told my Sox Summer, I said, you put a really hard question here because it could go in a lot of directions, but also there's probably some obvious answers, and I wasn't getting it. So I went through the like, you know what? I was probably a world-class Nerf basketball player. That might have been ruined. I might not have paid a close attention to that. It would have ruined collecting baseball cards, I think. Because you get access to everything, right? If you had the internet, you could order things or at least know everything that's out there. We had to wait for the Beckett to come out. And know the prices and all that shit. So it would ruin that thing. But it also would improve some stuff. Although I don't know if it would improve me marginally over anyone else. I think I probably would have played basketball better because I could have learned some techniques that I didn't know that weren't directly taught to me. I could have found them on YouTube or whatever, or baseball or whatever the fuck. And then it hit me right in the fucking head exactly what would have been ruined. And it's something that would be ruined for everyone. Not like Teresa's with the dick pics. Like, I think some people would resist the dick pics. They do today. This one, though, would ruin basically everybody. And what it would be is, a lot earlier in life, I would have known how full of shit my fucking parents were about everything and all other adults. So many adults would give you these bullshit, half-cracked answers that now you know are totally stupid and you should not listen to. And if, like, we had the internet back then, you could easily look up shit and realize they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And they're lying right through it. Now, I should have had, like, an earlier clue of this, though, because I have a famous story. I don't know if I've ever told it in any 108 circles, but
then it's definitely famous.
The last time I allowed my father to help me with my homework was in 4th grade. Mad Max helped me with my social studies homework, and I got a fucking D on my paper. And I thought, the old man making me get a D, I could get a fucking D on my own. I don't need the old man to help me to fuck up the paper. So after that, no help from mom or dad on my homework. No offense. But Teresa, you remember when we
didn't get kicked out the nest? You just left the fucking nest.
I left because I was like, you know what?
How did you have no more?
All I heard was Beeflo could get the D on his own.
When you started making drops, I get the D on my own.
Teresa, you remember when we first got cell phones and they first started having internet access? We'd sit around with Mad Max and we'd be talking, bullshitting about something. And he'd always want to bet us that some person was in a movie that they clearly were.
Oh my God!
Yes. And we would make $5 off of him like every time we saw him, because all we had to do was look it up and like pull up the video. No, that's not him. You know, like all of that shit. That would have gone all the way back to when we were like 7. We would have figured all that shit out. So I'm glad I didn't have the internet back then.
I think it would have been worse.
It would have ruined my childhood. I wanted to believe my parents knew what the fuck they were talking about, and it would have ruined it for me. Right. I would have known they don't. So,
but our kids are going to know we're straight bullshit.
They already know.
Yeah.
They do. The thing here is that Mad Max, when he's talking all that stuff, he was 108ing, right? Like, so, like,
true.
It's kind of like right now. Like, I'm sure all the shit I said during the 108ing draft, I didn't get everything factually correct. And I don't need to be fact-checked on that. Just enjoy it for what it is.
So this was, you're done, right?
I'm toast. My Sox Summer. You kick it off, baby.
So this came up because we were talking about different stuff in our little chat, and, like, one of the things was like, dude, like, half the reason that like I got an apartment when I was younger or like right into college was that I wanted to have, people come over, female friends come over, have guy friends come over and have some drinks and do other things with females. But, like I wanted to have that and wanted to get out of my parents'
so they could get to be on their own, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like that was the motivation. And my thought process was, well, if I had access to like unlimited porn, like as a child, like maybe my drive to get out of the house would not have been so great because, I mean, if I wanted to see, like whatever you wanted to see, you could see. So, that's things, whatever. So, I'm starting to get drunk. I thought the internet has definitely, yes, the internet has not, it did not ruin anything for me as a childhood, but I definitely know if we would have had the internet back then, I would not be who I am today. Going on like same thing you're saying, Chirizi. I wouldn't be who I am today because of my ability, like right now, to like go out in a situation, like a unique situation in myself, and like flourish in that situation, not knowing anybody and just talking. Because if I didn't have to do that, and I could go into like an internet chat room and have all the bravado and whatever. Right. I never would have developed any of those skills within myself, the soft skills, like go out and be able to talk to somebody and have a conversation with somebody. So I don't think that would have been who I was. Wouldn't have been that.
That was Bobby Boucher's problem too. He didn't have the social skills.
What I was saying in a more dick pic type of way, but like all the awkward conversations, like taught me like maybe that's not what you say to people,
right?
Like when you have to say it to someone's face, or you say it on the phone, and there's dead silence over the phone,
right?
Like those are the things where you're like, okay, that's not how you talk to people, right? I think the internet fucks that up. Because
you can say whatever you want.
Because you say it and you don't ever see like an expression, or you don't ever hear something immediately, or like people will just like disconnect and just like go do something else, and you're like, oh, that they must have walked over. They must have had lunch right now, right? But it's like they don't want to talk to you ever again.
Yeah, no,
it's a lot tougher when the phone hangs up on you,
right? No, I was gone. We talked about it. Been gone for 10 years, and was like always like the new kid on the block in like some area, right? Like you had to meet new people, meet new friends, and as you get older and older, it's harder to meet more people, meet new people, and like the capture, like to hang out with people as you get older is harder and just harder. So that unknown, like made me just go out there and try stuff. And I figured if I had the internet, I kind of wanted known stuff. I probably wouldn't have the desire to go, I want to live in California because I really like Jane's Addiction and Social Distortion. And it seems like a really cool place to live because they're making really good music there. So why don't I just fucking go there and check it out? Which was like literally in my head when I was like 23. It's like, if I could just get further west, I think it would be better. So yeah, no, I love it. I love social media. Obviously, we do we love that we have 7,000 people that follow us and stuff and check out shit. But like our social media does not replace the actual experience that you have coming to the 108 and hanging out with us. Like, we are a million times better in person. We're better in live than we are when you read any of our stuff.
Yeah, the Twitter following just builds the bridge to us getting to actually meet you. And that's the key for us.
So that's where I wanted to go with. It's like, hey, you come in, into the 108, you're going to have a great experience. Even if it's on a Tuesday, me and Beef Loaf will get drunk with you. Probably not Chirizi, he might not be there. And we're going to listen to my shit got cut out. A catcher's mitt sometimes that sounds like farts. And every time it sounds like a fart and we're drunk, we're going to laugh about it. Because that's just the way we go.
That's true. Even on the 83rd time, it's still hilarious to us.
Yeah, that's the thing. We will get drunk with you and laugh at Catcher Smith that sounds like farts. And laugh every fucking time it farts. So, yeah, that is definitely, something. Real experiences versus these things that are on the internet, I think, is big. So, I'm glad. I got a nephew who is very internet based, and it's just kind of sad. Like, he just doesn't have that drive to get out of the house. Like, he wants to be with his parents still and hanging out and still under that shelter. And I was like, dude, man, when I was 22, like, I was way the fuck out of that house because I just wanted to go do something else. Like, I could not be there anymore. Right. So, yeah.
I mean, all that said, when we first met, I think there was the exchange was fairly awkward until you sent a dick pic.
That loosened everything up. Made everything better.
I was like, hey guys, I shaved my balls. Check it out. All right.
It's time.
I'm going to pay some motherfucking bills. All right, this Friday, we have 2 brand new t-shirt designs dropping in our shop. Okay? And if you're on our mailing list, you're going to get the notice with the pictures tomorrow. So if you're not on the mailing list, what the fuck's wrong with you? Go to fromthe108.com and sign up for a goddamn mailing list right now. Fuck now.
That beautiful caricature of us that pops up.
Yep.
Sign in.
And then you just sign up. We will send you an email. We'll tell you when the shit goes live. You go there first. You can get your sizes because we're not made of money. We don't order 2,000 shirts. We order 200 shirts. And it's switched over. Now, right now, live on our site, we have got XLs, larges, and double XLs of the 108 shirt, which is $25 shipped directly to your door.
That's my favorite shirt right there. The 108 shirt, I think, is a shirt for all occasions, especially White Sox-related occasions.
It's a nice Fruit of the Loom. It's called Cotton Spun. It's a kind of more fitted up top, so it makes you look more buff. And then it's like kind of like a little bit loose around the gut area. So it makes me look like I'm not as fat as I am. Although White Sox Dave told me today, you are. He said I'm looking pretty fat. I said no shit. You're fat. I'm fat. I'm ranking over fucking 300 right now. He's like, yeah, but it's a healthy 300. You're tall. It looks okay. So thanks, Dave. And if I was into it, you'd be number 1 on my list, buddy. But so you're gonna love the 2 new designs that we have. And you can get that first crack if you're on the mailing list. So go to fromthe108.com and sign up for that right now. And right now you can get the 108 shirts from small all the way up till 6XL with everything between. So go buy it and quit bitching about shit. So I love it.
It is that time in the show where Beefloaf shouts out a Twitter follower.
Absolutely. It is time for the shout out. The shout out's a quick segment that we use to recognize at least one of you fine folks on Twitter that has engaged with us, joined us for a game, has been friendly to us, etc. I've been going down the OG path, and I'm going to continue down that path today. Someone who we've known for a really freaking long time, as long as we've been doing this 108ing shit. Awesome fucking guy, terrific Sox fan. He's a big tailgater as well. I remember he did it almost an entire week of tailgating last summer.
He did.
Teresa and I met him on one of those days and had a couple beers with him at his tailgate when it was like a weeknight or whatever. We were just hanging out with him. He's from the southeast side. He's normally sitting in section 160. What I did not know about him is that he went to Mount Carmel and also went to NIU. What I did know about him is that he hits the bells a little too hard occasionally, and we have seen him do such a thing.
You went to NIU?
That is our guy, SoxSidePride. And he is at Pitch Shady, so that's at PITSSHADY. That's at PITSSHADY. One of the OGs, so much fun to catch a game with, awesome fucking dude. You guys?
I love this guy. He's like one of my favorite Sox fans that comes in and hangs out.
He's a glorious mess.
And
yes.
Like this guy.
He's special.
But here's what's really cool about him. The games that he doesn't come and sit by us, he's legit there with his grandmother.
He is.
He still takes his grandma to fucking Sox games. That's so fucking cool. And then the days that she's not with him, he comes and like 108s with us.
He gets
he gets Blotto, right? Yeah, for sure. For sure. But it's awesome. This is someone who just truly enjoes the White Sox.
That's right.
It's
absolutely.
It's so fucking
he
cool.
Is. Yeah.
I love hanging out with that guy. And he's a ton of fun. He's just fucking hilarious.
He fits
and
right
just
in.
Just loves all the same shit that we do. So it's really cool just hanging out with that dude.
And a big supporter of the 108.
Absolutely.
I'll say that. Early supporter.
Yeah,
of
has
the
been
108.
since the very beginning. Totally agree.
We're drinking the Mississippi mud right now. And it's interesting. I remember this, but it's pretty.
It is a weird mix of flavors, man. It's some like coffee and
it's not bad.
food.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got a little coffee, a little alligator to it.
It's not bad. I think you're.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah,
okay. I'm glad.
But hey, we should play that. We could probably.
I mean,
play
there's
Just the jug.
There's 2 more bottles if you want some.
That's beautiful. Nice.
See, if I was a Southern yokel, I could probably play like a whole.
Nice job blowing. I really enjoyed that.
But one more shout out to SoxSidePride. I can't wait to tailgate with him.
Absolutely,
this
my
year. And now it is time for last call.
Last call.
You don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here.
I'm gonna let my Sox summer start out.
Fuck. So I've been noticing. I had this in my notes last week. I think yes. Well, Evan Longoria spoke out and talked about how you have all these players that are unsigned and are not there, and that these players are basically getting screwed by management and whatnot. And then it happened just a couple of days ago, or 2 days. I think it was 2 days ago. Justin Verlander came out and said the same thing. He's like, "There's 100 guys that aren't signed." He's like, and these guys got to start paying what these guys are worth. So I think it's obviously a precursor to possibly a strike, that could be definitely on the horizon, or at least some negotiations. We might not get a strike, but there's going to be a lot of talks that are going on, because I don't feel as though there's collusion going on, and I don't know. I'm definitely 100% in with the players getting as much money as they can, but sometimes it's gonna have to. You're gonna have to stop. There's gonna be a cap at how much you're gonna pay these guys. You can't. It's ridiculous for the White Sox to go $100 million over whatever the next best player is.
Agreed.
That plays third base. Why would you go way out of market just to land some guy that could possibly perform just a little bit better than a guy that's going to get a lot less than what he's getting paid?
I mean, a little premium's fine, but I agree with you. You don't want to go crazy.
Well, and you're running a business, right? And once again, we are on the side of the players making as much money as they can, but we also understand it's a fucking business, and you don't just show your fucking hand when you're out there. You're like, oh, let me give you all the money I have, let's just do this. So the one thing though with Verlander I thought was very interesting is our 108 buddy, 108 friend, Mike North, who pops up and says, Bryce Harper turned down a $300 million contract. Carry on. And it was he was fucking 100% correct. And it's just, that's the audacity of this. It's he was given good money and then did not sign for it because he doesn't want to play there, which I can understand.
Sure.
But it's just the money is there. People put out the money. It's just you're going to have to decide what you're willing to take, obviously. And this is, rolling into, Manny and all this. It's well, maybe he doesn't want to play with the Sox. Maybe the Sox offer isn't the best, but it might be the best. And they're just trying to get more, get more money. I also think it's multiplied because we're on the everything's on the internet. And I was talking with White Sox Dave about this today, that our number one source for information is a guy that broke the Wellington Castillo steroid story, is the most believable guy on fucking Twitter. Okay, and he goes, yeah, but that was a pretty good story. I go, but do you think about the absurdity of this whole thing? This is what gives him clout. Is he broke a steroid story? And he's like, yeah, but he's got connects. And I'm like, I get you. I go, but this is just fucking ridiculous.
Well, he got connects, though, right?
The thing I have the biggest problem with in all of this is the teams that are not in on these top guys, that they're too fucking stupid to just pay a little more to grab up all these second tier guys. Right? The Braves are the only ones who have done anything similar, right? Going out and going Josh Donaldson, don't wait until the Manny Machado market finishes.
Right.
We'll just give you 20 whatever million for this year. And he immediately signed.
Right. It was an early signing.
You almost forget that he's already signed because it happened so long ago.
Right.
And
it's true.
There's a lot of teams that should be out there going to Marwin Gonzalez. We'll overpay you a little bit. So just come join the team now so that you're not waiting until the middle of spring training to join the team. Right? There's a lot of pitchers out there that people should be going after. Right? Someone should overpay Dallas Keuchel. And you know what? I know you don't pay him for past performance. But you also don't go into a season with even just 5 starters if you want to compete.
Sure.
I think that's a big misnomer in Major League Baseball right now. It's like, well, we've got our 5 starters. One of those guys is going to get hurt. In fact, 3 of those guys are going to get hurt.
Right.
So you need a Dodgers rotation of 8 guys that you're going to move in and out of the 10-day injured list. Not disabled list anymore. So that you can, because it's a 10-day DL, you're only missing 2 starts. Right?
Right.
So you should be cycling pitchers. You should have a lot of pitchers. If you plan to contend, you should be spending a lot on pitchers.
Oh, and I've got 1,400 words on how the White Sox need a bunch more pitchers. That's going to be coming out late in the next couple days.
The Sox need, because they have kind of a starting 5 right now, so they need 5 more guys. But yeah, I mean that's what I'm is more problematic to me than like the big guys not signing.
Yeah.
Is that teams are not going, all right, well, the Sox and the Phillies and the Dodgers and the Yankees or Padres are all tied up over here. Well, they're fucking around with that.
Well, we signed these guys.
Let me grab these guys. And I'll overpay to get them in the door early.
Yeah. Treasy, there's something going on here with the group think. And my Sox owner brought up, he doesn't think there's collusion.
But no, does that mean there is collusion?
No, I actually don't think there is either. I think there's sort of a soft collusion going on in that groupthink has permeated MLB, and you have almost all the same kind of GMs, with the exception of just a couple out there, and the Mets GM being one of them, sort of an outside the box hire to bring an agent in. A lot of what everyone is funneling towards are these NBA types, right? And they all sort of think about the problem in a similar manner. Right. So what you end up with is they're trying to all be as efficient as possible, without understanding sort of like some of what free agents are is buying insurance policies.
Yeah,
you pay for something like that because you want some certainty, and not necessarily you're paying directly for that value. And that's something that like I've heard the stat nerds blamed a little bit for this, and they're not I don't think they should be blamed for it, but they sort of don't understand this shit either, or they don't explain it well. Buying someone like Dallas Keuchel, I understand. He may not return that value, but what he is an insurance policy for a good team.
Right.
It's like, I'm going to put another good starter in here to add to the rest of my good starters, and if one of them fails, it makes it less likely that my team fails because I added this extra one. So I think as a group, you have a lot of GMs zigging and almost no others zagging like you're talking about they should be.
And it always brings me back to we get so mad about this when we talk about it, is when the Sox signed Austin Jackson right before the beginning of the year, and then he got hurt, and they were like, oh, we're fucked now. And it's like, you should never put yourself in that position. Like, there should have been Austin Jackson, and then there should have been another guy, and there should have been a guy on a minor league signing that if you needed him, he could come up. Instead, it was Austin Jackson and then JB Shuck, which is just terrible. Like, you didn't even think about it. Like, you didn't even try to say, like, let's sign a few guys because there's tons of guys out there. Let's sign a few guys and make sure that we're set up so that if someone gets hurt, because every season a lot of guys get hurt. Like, even if it's a temporary injury,
especially if you have Aiden on your team.
15, 20, 30 days that the guy's out.
Jake
like,
Beebe.
You can lose a lot of games in that time, especially if it's a pitcher.
I would say any of the Dodgers pitchers. Let me flip this coin for a second. Another thing that creeps out whenever you see something like this, you see Longoria or Justin Verlander's tweets or Instagram.
They're old heads too. They're the old guys.
They are the old guys.
Yeah.
But what always comes out when this happens, I don't know if you looked at the comments at all.
Oh.
I don't know if you looked at what people said.
It's so stupid.
We are in the minority of wanting the players to get paid, and here's why. People recognize the players as being like them, and the owners as sort of not being like them, a different entity. So they think, oh, these greedy players, not realizing that really the owner is the one who is, is nickel and diming the situation effectively. They can easily afford to improve their product, but they don't want to. They're going to rent seek as much as possible. They'll take their free fucking stadium. They'll take their near free rent, and they'll spend whatever the fuck they damn well please on the product. And you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to blame the players. They're greedy, not me.
Well, that's the funny thing about it, right? Because like in most of these cities, most of these places, like the fans are from that city, from that area, and they're paying for the stadium through their taxes.
Yes.
Right? And the owner is getting this free fucking stadium from these people.
Yep.
And then not paying for the players. And the people are going, fuck those players. It's weird.
It's insane.
So how many highlight films have you guys seen of owners? Like, that's what I want to know. So
Other than Jim Irsay?
I'm gonna throw that out there to everybody that's listening that thinks that the players are overpaid. It's like, if they did not have the money to pay, they would not pay. Like, they have the money. Of
course they do.
Sox aren't broke.
Thing is,
It doesn't matter how many fucking seats they sell. They ain't broke.
thing is, if they didn't have the money, or if they were spending the money on something else, they would go out of their fucking way to make sure you knew that they were spending that money,
Right.
but they couldn't afford it. But instead, what they do is they stay in the dark. I don't see no fucking audited financials by KPMG out there for all of us season ticket holders to look at so we can see where Jerry's spending all the money.
Right.
I ain't seen that shit. And guess what? It ain't happening. You know why? Because they'll take their operating profit and they'll shut the fuck up about it, and they'll claim stuff in the paper and they'll push it on the players that they're the greedy ones because they control the message. The players got to get better at this PR campaign. So when you see something like that and you see like, and I love Mike North, but I mean, Mike North should shut the fuck up. That's what I'm saying, all right? He should shut the fuck up, all right? Because
I thought he was very good.
The players are out there
response.
grabbing calls. I don't disagree with his response. At some point, Bryce Harper, you're not as good as Alex Rodriguez. So you know what? You're not going to break records. Maybe you're not going to, okay?
Right.
I understand inflation. Someone's going to yell, yeah, but they make more revenue now. I get it. I get all that shit, right? But Alex Rodriguez was a once-in-a-generation player. Bryce Harper had 1.5 WAR last year, according to Baseball Reference. So it's not the same type of player
Right.
here. So I see where he's coming from, but he should shut up and just let them try to earn as much as they can, in my personal opinion.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And Scott Boras is going to be there to push that. And I think that it's funny that people have made Scott Boras like such a villain. But if it wasn't for this guy, it would be way worse
It'd be much
for the
worse.
players.
Yeah.
Like the players would be getting like shit pay, and the owners would just be raking in all this cash. And somehow that is the scenario that people want. Like somehow that the people are like, hey, you know what? Fuck all these players that we enjoy watching. I really want to enrich this guy who's in the skybox.
And don't think about like the upper echelon of players. Think about the lower echelon of players, which is majority of players. You're not getting these huge fucking deals. But as the huge deals go on the top, it ups the minimum pay salary.
Exactly.
So these guys like, I'm just gonna say, TJ, McFarland, my wife's cousin, like he's making like $1.3 million or something this year. Like that's amazing. Like 100% amazing. He's not going to be able to do this for the rest of his life. It's not like working at a brokerage firm. It's not like fucking selling fucking real estate. Like he only has a finite amount of time to do this, that he can do it. He should be able to maximize his profits like anybody else would in any type of environment. If you could only work at your job for 10 years, you best damn well better. And you're good at your fucking job, you better get as much as you fucking can in those fucking 10 years.
You got to max
get the fuck out.
I totally agree with you guys. You got to max it out, but the players have to work on their PR here.
They got to figure it
They're
out.
still not being heard, and I don't know in what way they could smooth it out to the average fan and make the average fan realize, look,
It's not going to happen.
we're getting a tiny piece. I don't know what the method is, but that's the first thing I do. I always look at this. I look at this even in other types of situations. If you look at any sort of group where it's like they're kind of getting the shaft, it's like, think about how you could switch it so you're not getting the shaft anymore. Like, if you don't deserve it, figure out some way to communicate to everyone else, hey, this is fucked up, and here's why you should empathize with me.
Yeah.
But I don't know that the players have a mechanism for it. Even that Players Tribune hasn't done shit so far.
It's like it's okay to have teachers, firemen, and policemen to all make more money, and baseball players to make more money too. Like just by saying, oh yeah, okay, well these guys deserve more money because they're teachers and they're public servants, they deserve money. Well, baseball players probably deserve a little bit more money too, because in considering the situation. And I remember when they would do the Black Lives Matter thing, Nick, what's his fucking guy's name, married Mariah Carey, that was on
Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon was on Howard Stern. He was talking about, he's like, Black Lives Matter. He's like, well, doesn't every life matter? Stern says to him, he goes, yeah. He's like, but when you say save the whales, you aren't saying fuck the fish. He's like, you want to pay some special attention because there's something going on with these whales, right? And I'm not, by no means am I saying, hey, we should really pay attention to these baseball players. They're fucking starving to death. But it's like, let's just not jump down their throats when we're talking like, oh, he doesn't deserve that money. He doesn't do all this. And then, when's the last time you bought a jersey with your teacher's name on the back? And the fact that, that you sold that jersey and the players union is going to make a little bit of money on it, but the owner's going to make a lot of money on it. You got to look at all these fucking things that are all like.
Teresa, that example reminded me of the program when James Caan's character goes, yeah, but when was the last time 60,000 people got together to watch someone do a goddamn chemistry experiment?
World War II. So what we were just talking about kind of bleeds into.
Sorry about that one.
No, it's perfect.
That was a good one.
It bleeds into mine and Beefloaf's joint last call,
which is how can we fuck My Sock Summer over as much as possible?
Oh yeah, that's part of it.
It's gonna be part of it. So this was actually a suggestion from Uncle Rico, Bobbles Jim.
He's a dickhead.
He reached out last night.
No, this was not his suggestion to fuck you over. It was to.
Oh no! Actually, afterwards he said the best thing about it is it will fuck My Sock Summer over.
Yeah,
so
I tried to protect.
Funny, So, no, he wants. But so he suggested to us, hey, check out this thread. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. And so the thread was Jeff Passan put out a tweet, and he had a list of minor league signees that are former major league players, and they're all on minor league contracts.
Okay.
And he put the list out there, and he said...
Brett Lowry.
He thinks that this list could beat the worst team in baseball in 2019.
In WAR, right?
He didn't say WAR initially. He said it would be better than them. And then Red Sox, good old Tom Fornelli, jumped in and said, Jeff, if this group beats the worst team in F-WAR this year, I will give you $10,000. And if they don't, if the worst team beats them, you got to pay me $10,000. So, Red Sox, he's from what I know of him, he'd be good for it. He was willing to gamble here. And Jeff Passan said, well, you take those 4 zeros off.
He took it down to a Mortimer bet.
He did.
Trading places. $1. He even used the picture.
He did. He put the picture in there. So $1. So they made a $1
bet.
They made a $1 bet that this list of players.
So I'm going to go
would beat the worst team in baseball in F4.
Okay. It's been a long night, so let me see how quickly I can go through these.
In my Sox Summer, you say drink every player that you don't know that Teresa E talks about here. That names.
Okay, they names.
You got to drink one for each of these that you don't know.
Yeah.
Devin Mesoraco.
Fuck. No idea.
Nick Hundley. Stephen Vogt.
Nope.
Mark Reynolds. Yeah, you know him. Nick Franklin.
Nope.
Adam Rosales.
No.
Ryan Flaherty.
No.
We'll give you Ryan Flaherty.
He kind of sounds familiar, but like
he's an old.
You're going to do good through the outfield. Curtis Granderson.
Mm-hmm.
Gerardo Parra.
No. Hold on.
Monkey Cabrera's next.
He's Monkey Cabrera's
next. Monkey Cabrera's next.
Milky?
You got Monkey. DH is Matt Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
So you're good.
DH is not pinch hitting. Or he's not pitching.
He's not pitching. On the bench, Lucas Duda.
No. Well, no. No, I don't really know that.
Danny Espinosa.
Yeah, I do know Danny Espinosa.
A great mustache. That's why you know him. Matt Joyce.
Mm-hmm.
I'll shit my pants if you know Gorkis Hernandez.
Absolutely. But I wish I did, because I would love to see you shit. I got to pour some more beer.
Teresa, I actually had the Gorkis Hernandez last time I was at Poncho's, and it was delicious.
Listen. All right.
I'm hoping you'll probably do better.
Hold on. I owe like 3 drinks. Jesus Christ. I haven't took my hat off and put my hair down.
I know you got the long flowing locks.
Yeah. Look like you got the flat iron up there and that thing.
Yeah, that's how it goes. You know, when you pull it back the whole day, like that's how it goes.
Yeah. All right, Josh Tomlin. You know Josh.
I know Josh Tomlin.
Yeah.
Francisco Liriano.
Yes.
Jason Hamill.
Yep.
Okay. Vidal Nuno.
Not at all. Hold on.
This one you might know because he was a little bit of a Sox killer for a minute. Tommy Maloney. Yeah, drink.
Nope. I'm being honest, folks.
And you're getting drunk. Don't die. Don't die.
I'm not going to die.
You can die. Don't barf on the microphone.
Gorgie just gave me a look like, oh, Jesus Christ. I don't even want to walk out there. It's going to stink.
Alex Wilson. Mm-mm. Jerry Blevins.
Oh, God. How many pages is this?
No,
It's only like 5 more left.
Jerry Blevins?
Yeah.
No. I know a Marshall Blevins. I went to high school with him.
Is he a Major League Baseball player?
You're good here.
I'll be his kid, though.
Daniel Hudson.
Former White Sox.
Know that guy.
Mark
Consuelos?
Chinsky.
Yeah, whatever that is. There's a lot of...
Zipchinsky.
Zipchinsky?
Yeah.
No.
There's
call him Stroh.
I want you to
His name is
look
Stroh.
at it, because, like, you might know that if you saw it.
Oh, God. That's a lot of consonants.
Okay, you don't know
Looks
that.
like the guy that did concrete at my house.
His nickname is Scrabble.
A lot of
Is that the guy that fell and hurt himself or no?
Yeah, but not at my house.
Okay,
Junichi Tozawa.
No.
All right.
No.
George Cantos.
No.
Jenry Mejia.
No.
And Ian Kroll.
No.
I'm going to drink with you on Ian Kroll. I don't know who the fuck that is.
You knew the rest of those
But
guys?
you know what's funny?
Yes.
You knew all those other guys except for one guy? That
What's funny?
amazing.
What's funny is Jeff Passan refers to all these guys as like known major leaguers that happen to take minor league deals, and like there's an easy 10 guys on this list that the average fan has no fucking clue who they are.
yes,
Like,
absolutely.
Why is Brett Lowry not on that list?
That's a good question. He might have signed after this list was put together, but yeah,
Because
that
I
would
think
have
he
been a
would
good
be
call.
kind of a top guy, like that would be on a list, right?
But so the
Because he did the
legit,
same thing as this.
the legit question here is, which side of this bet do you like better? And we talked about it a little before, and we decided which sides we're going to go with. And I appreciate...
We're going with the Rays, right?
I appreciate Beefloaf going with the Jeff Passan side because I can't fucking do it. Like, I look at this list, and I look at how many guys on this list, which is it's a large amount of them on the hitting side, cannot break 200 in the major leagues. Their batting average cannot be above 200, and they've proven it. They've declined into that. It's not like there's a bounce back year when you're 36, right? Like so like unless you're steroiding the fuck out of yourself, like you're not going to do it, right? So there's a bunch of guys on this list, like the middle infield of this team that he's assembled is some of the worst hitters you could ever come up with, and they're not that great in the field.
This is the point I was going to get at. So,
like, I don't see them beating an actual major league team in WAR or wins or whatever you want to call it.
So I think in general the baseline for F4 getting to 0 is something like 54 wins or something like that. So when you take the side I'm taking with all these goofballs on here, what you're trying to do is you're trying to handicap 54 and a half or under for the worst team in baseball.
Right.
Of which you have got two really good choices. The Marlins, who don't give a shit, and the Orioles, who also don't give a shit. And the Orioles were well below that number last year.
Yeah.
They only had 47 wins.
Last year.
So the reason why you could take this list, and I think it's an underdog. I'd want like 2.5 to 1 if we were really betting this, and I really had this side. Even money, this is not a good bet, but if you gave me 2.5 to 1, I think I could make a good bet out of this for two reasons. One, you're right. This group doesn't have good defensive value, which hurts on the WAR standpoint.
Yeah.
But what it does have in its favor is these guys won't last in the majors very long to accrue negative WAR.
Right.
Meaning they'll have to play well, and their WAR will have to maintain positivity to stay in the majors. Otherwise, they'll be in the minors and have 0 WAR.
If I had to go with an argument, it was going to be these guys will never make it to the majors, and they'll have a 0 WAR, and the worst team will have a negative WAR.
They'll have a negative WAR. They could fall below negative WAR.
But I looked at it, and I was like, so I looked at basically just the Marlins and the Orioles, because that's what
Basically
you're going to
the bet.
assume you're going to deal with. And, like, there are fucking guys on both of these teams that I've never heard of. Like, I mean, like if you just said this guy's name to me, and I guessed what he did, like
what his job was.
10 times out of 10, janitor would beat shortstop.
Let me stop you for
or even guy in a cover, like Richie Martin. I definitely was like probably Menudo cover band. Or, according to MLB's depth chart, starting shortstop with the Orioles.
That's pretty close. It's almost the same thing.
Go ahead.
I'm going to interrupt you. So, Orioles and Marlins, but also within shouting distance are the Detroit Tigers if they trade Nick Castellanos and Miguel Cabrera gets hurt like he does every year.
That's the thing.
They're right in that
someone
group, too.
could come out of nowhere
and be way worse.
Terrible.
Yes, and be awful the way the tanking is going on. So I think as presently constituted, Red Sox knew he was a huge favorite to win $10,000. But if they had to lay some odds in here, if he had to lay 2.5 to 1,
God.
I don't think he feels so fucking safe about laying no $10,000 out there. I don't know. Maybe we'll bring it up to him on Twitter and see what he has to say.
The place where I see like the huge difference, right, is at pitcher, right? Because the pitchers that are listed here, like everyone that I ran through, in reality, is a relief pitcher, right? You would not throw Josh Tomlin out as your ace, right? So each of these teams that are nevertheless terrible, right? They're terrible teams. But if you have Dylan Bundy, Andrew Kashner, Alex Cobb at the top of your rotation, right? You have some kind of confidence that one of those guys is going to be okay, right? They're going to exceed what they did last year.
Right.
Alex Cobb should bounce back somewhat, right, with a spring training.
Someone pops in as a respectable pitcher.
Right. All you have to do is be James Shields last year, and you're going to outperform like these guys. But that only assumes that they make the majors, right? And I think that's where it goes. But like even the Marlins, like Urania, Straley, Chen, those aren't as terrible as looking at like a Tomlin, Liriano, Hamill. Right? I mean, like,
right, that's totally,
so like if
totally
these guys are both in the majors together, like at the same time, like the Marlins pitching staff is going to be better than this made up pitching staff. It's just because these guys are fucking, they're done.
When I was looking at this list, I agree with you, Treasy, and I was looking at what teams these guys are on. So like you brought up Josh Tomlin. He's on the Brewers, so they'll probably do, if they end up using him, they'll do some funky shit with him. They'll have an opener, and then he'll only pitch like 4 innings, and like they'll do some shit with him to like hide him. But then I was looking down the list, and I'm like, Jason Hamill is with the Rangers, and the Rangers ain't going to be good, and the Rangers might just leave him out there and fucking die. Yes! So like, that's where the holes are in this roster. Like, some of these guys, they might let get all fucked up out there, and Jason Hamill's like number 1 on the list, in my opinion.
And then you start going by position, right? And you show me the fucking second baseman in any of this that is better than Starlin Castro.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Like, Starlin Castro is the best player on this entire roster.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah.
And he's still just kind of a nothing guy. And you got Martin Prado on that same one.
You're not saving this Mississippi mud, are you?
No.
This will be our third jug of Mississippi mud. I just want to throw that out there.
But I want to ask the whole group, and we all got to drink if this is the case. Who knows who or what a JT Riddle is?
I think that was the kid from Home Improvement.
I do not know what that is.
MLB.com has JT Riddle as the starting shortstop of the Miami Marlins.
I've heard that if you
Miami Marlins,
you can get rid of JT Riddle with.
Isn't it the Florida Marlins?
I think it's Miami.
Did they change
right?
it to Miami?
Yeah, it's been Miami only about 6 years. I think.
Jesus Christ!
It doesn't matter. They don't matter.
See, I just deal in vintage, That's all I'm saying. Hey, that was great.
You had something to say.
No, I did not. I absolutely did not.
What's your last?
That was pretty amazing. That was a joint.
That was a joint last call.
Okay, so we're done.
That was a joint last call.
So I swear you started to say something, but we'll just move on.
No, I said I was trying to say a JT Riddle can be remedied by penicillin, but my sex
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I was trying to get.
He stepped on my tiny dick.
I was giving you a little.
I'm saying the Mississippi mud. I didn't know if he was saving it for a special occasion.
We're
Valentine's Day is tomorrow, and maybe he wants to share one with the old lady. I don't know.
That was going to be my last call. Was going to be like, do you even give a shit about Valentine's
Day?
We all know we don't.
I do, because I live in a household of 3 women. So one doesn't really know she's a woman yet. Well, I mean, I'm sure she knows, but she doesn't have that stuff. But like, we're going to go.
May's got big demands, I'm sure.
Well, May, we're going to have to go. We're going to go get some stuff for my wife. Little Miss Shortstop definitely loves getting flowers.
Okay.
Nice. Who doesn't?
For my wife and Mrs. My Sock Summer. And so we're going to do that, and we're going. My wife doesn't listen to this, so I could like say everything that we're going to do.
Yes,
but we'll probably get her some candy and do some other, fancy things, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, our car got smashed into last night. Some guy awesome. Slid into it, sideswiped my sister-in-law's car, and hit our car. So we're going to have to take those cars in very soon. So yeah, great times.
Great weekend.
Yeah,
that sucks.
That's definitely in the plans.
So
I'll be at the NIU basketball game. On Saturday, more than likely. They're doing a doubleheader. They're doing a Victor E. Husky bobblehead giveaway.
And then you and I are going to be at the Blackhawks game Saturday.
I got a 2-timer.
So yes. It's going to be a wild weekend. And believe it or not, we are coming in under 2 hours again.
Yes.
What?
I got the update. Carrie Fisher had cocaine, methadone, ecstasy, alcohol, and opiates in her bloodstream when she was rushed into the
that's it?
The hospital. Yeah.
I have
that was the toxicology.
I have a matching stat line for this show. Thanks
Mississippi Mud.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll talk to you soon. We'll be on in just a few minutes.
Check it out because we got our new shirt signed
on the YouTubes.
Peace.